Hi, it's Hope and welcome to the video. As you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, this is going to be the mid-year freakout tag. So this is a tag that you do in the middle of the year, and it just talks about the books that you've read this year and like answering questions. There's 13 questions. I will leave the questions in the description. So yeah, if I look down here, it's because I have my laptop down here with all of the questions. And I will just state, whenever I'm talking about books, I probably won't go in too depth about the books, or else we'll be here for like an hour. So question number 1 is best book you read so far in 2022, and this has to be House of Sky and Wrath by Sarah J. Maas. I absolutely love this book. This is the second book in the Crescent City series, which is like obviously like Sarah J. Maas's newest book. And this is literally like my favorite book I've read this year. It would take a lot for a book to top this. I absolutely loved it. I'm dying to do a reread even though I've just read it in February. So yeah. Question number 2 is best sequel of the year. I originally didn't want to put this book on twice, but there was no other book that was the best book. But there also was no other best sequel. This is like such a good sequel because you end up like more things happen, and I just loved it so much that it's the best sequel I've read this year. It's the best book, best sequel, best everything I've read this year. I know this is a very like controversial book, like some people hated it, some people loved it, and I'm on the side of absolutely loved it. Okay, number 3, new release that you haven't read yet but want to. I have 4 because I could not just pick one. So first we have Cafe con Leche by Emery Lee, which is a like YA contemporary. A Show for Two by Tashi Bouillon, also a YA contemporary. Prince of Sorrows by Kellen Graves. This is I think new adult. It's either YA or new adult fantasy. That's basically all I know. And then Forging Silver into Stars by Bridget Kemmerer. This is a YA fantasy. It is like it's like the spin-off series for the Cursebreaker series, which I absolutely loved. And Forging Silver into Stars literally just came out like 2 weeks ago. So it kind of makes sense why I haven't read it. So for question number 4 is most anticipated release for the rest of the year. I have 5. So first we have Bloodmarked by Tracy Deonn, which comes out November 8th. This is the sequel to Legendborn, which I absolutely loved. It's like a urban fantasy, like King Arthur retelling. The next one is Shattered Souls by Beck Michaels, which comes out August 30th, and this is the 3rd book in the Guardians of the Maiden series, which is a like YA fantasy series that I absolutely love. I mean, I have 2 different sets of the books started that I'm going to 100% be completing, so like it's like a favorite series, and I'm dying to know how things go. Next we have Kingdom of the Feared by Carrie Maniscalco, which comes out September 27th, and this is the 3rd and final book in the Kingdom of the Wicked series. The first book's YA, and then the book 2 and 3 are new adult fantasy, and like, I absolutely loved the first 2 when I read them in, I think it was December. So I'm very, very, very excited for this one. On September 6th is the Sunbearer Trials by Aidan Thomas. I know absolutely nothing about this. I haven't even read the description, yet I have it pre-ordered. I've loved the 2 books that I've read by Aidan Thomas before, so this one was on automatic, just like, okay, yep, pre-order. And then the final book, well, there's a lot more, but these are just ones that, like, the first ones that popped into my head. All of Our Demise by Amanda Foody and Christine Lynn Herman. This comes out on August 30th, and this is the sequel to All of Us Villains, and that is a like YA fantasy competition thing, and I'm dying to know what happens, because this will wrap up the story as it's only a duology, so I'm very excited for it. Number 5, biggest disappointment has to be Lore by Alexandra Bracken. I went into this with like thinking it was going to be really good. I heard good things, but then I also heard bad things. I was like, oh, I'm probably going to be on the side of I love it. I gave it a 2.5 stars. I honestly should have DNF'd it because, I don't know, it was just so confusing at points, and like the characters weren't that good, and so it just really disappointed me. My biggest surprise, which is question number 6, I think would have to be Serpent's Touch by Marina Simcoe. This is a book that I had not heard of until my friend Morgan pulled it out of their little like TBR bucket and was like, oh, I'm gonna read this, and I was like, cool. She started reading it and then was just like, the main female character hits somebody in the eye with a cucumber, and I was like, I'm sorry, she did what now? And then Morgan wouldn't tell me the like reasoning, so I was like, fine, I have to read it. And then it ended up being a buddy read that we did until like 2 in the morning, and I gave it 5 stars because it was really good. So it definitely surprised me in the fact of like, I went from not knowing it to 5 stars, all because I was told one stupid thing. That's how easy it is to convince me to read a book. It's just like, say something stupid and I'll be like, yeah. Number 7, favorite new author, which can either be a backlist author or a new author, like a debut author. I have 2. Colleen Hoover, I've read 4 of her books this year. The lowest I've rated one of her books is a 4.5. So that right there shows that she is a favorite author, especially because I read those 4 books in technically 2 months, in April and May. So like, that's pretty good. And then also Stephanie Garber, I read the entire Caraval series and then Once Upon a Broken Heart over the first few months of this year, and I really enjoyed them, and I'm actually really excited for The Ballad of Never After, which I guess would go to anticipated reads from like for the rest of the year because that comes out in September. Question number 8 is newest fictional crush, and question number 9 is newest favorite character, and I honestly really struggled with these because the thing is a lot of the times when I read a book, I never just go, oh, this is a new favorite character or a new fictional crush. I have 2 characters down for newest fictional crush and then 0 for new favorite character. But one is kind of cheating for the newest fictional crush as one of them is Rune Dannon from, well, House of Earth and Blood and House of Sky and Breath. But technically it's like I liked him as a character in the first book when I read it in 2020, and then this book made it like he went from like, okay, I like him as a character to, oh my lord, I absolutely adore this man. Like, literally just like, I don't know. So that's kind of cheating because like I was introduced to the character 2 years ago, but this made me just go, yep, love him. And then I also have Jax from the Caraval series / Once Upon a Broken Heart. I don't know, I just basically from like page 1 that he was introduced, I was like, I like this man. He is like very like morally gray, almost borderline evil, and I love it. And like I'm trying to think of other like favorite characters or fictional crushes, and the thing is like I'm the type of person that I don't realize a book character is like a fictional crush or like a favorite character until months after I've read it, and I can still think of that character. And honestly, I don't really think there's been any of those this year, really. A lot of it has come from rereads that I've done or like characters that I've enjoyed but I wouldn't call favorites. Number 10, books that made you cry. First is Brother Song by T.J. Klune. I sobbed with this. This is the 4th and final book in the Green Creek series, and I mean I cried for every single book in that series, but Brother Song is the only one that I've read in like Brother Song is the only one that I've read in 2022 from that series, and that it broke my heart so many times. So yeah, and then also Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover, November 9 by Colleen Hoover, It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. Every single Colleen Hoover book I've read, I have cried. That also shows that she is a new favorite author, because if an author can make me cry, that means I love their books. So yeah. Question number 11 is a book that made you happy, and the first one that popped into my head was A Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I just, like, when I was reading that, I was just so happy and so, like, I was enjoying the characters so much. I enjoyed everything about the story. So I would say that is a book that made me happy. Although I'm like, there obviously are other books that made me happy, but that's like the first one that when I was like going through these questions was just like, The Love Hypothesis. 12. The most beautiful book you've bought or acquired this year. It has to be Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sulin Tan, the Fairy Loot exclusive edition. So like, this is the cover, and then those are the end pages. It is just so gorgeous. Like, it's so gorgeous. Like, it's so gorgeous, and it's the most beautiful book that I own, I think. So, yeah. And then question number 13. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? I made a whole 22 books to read in 2022 list, and I think I have read 7 of those books. So honestly, I need to make progress on that list, as well as just basically like anything that I put on my TBR I need to read. I don't know, that's a kind of a hard question of like what books you need to read by the end of the year, because it's like, well, just all the books I want and all the books I said I will. So, yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know, like, let me know your answers to some of these questions. Again, I'll leave the questions linked in the description for if you want to do this video for yourself or just in general. But I really hope you enjoyed this video, and bye!